Welcome to the Grizzled Geek. Here we're reviewing Star Wars The Last Jedi. We just got back from a double feature with Force Awakens and The Last Jedi.
It's a good way to see it.
From his nap. Should be the name of the third one.
Yeah.
Man, alright, we're going to start off, as we always do. No spoilers in the beginning.
Right.
Once you see the little spoiler warning come up, then we're going to spoil the fuck out of this movie. It's going to be like...
Yeah.
You can't talk about this movie without... spoiling. If you have not seen the movie, do not watch this. Go.
You definitely don't want this.
Yeah, I'll just stop right now. I'll tell you that it's worth it. Go see it. Like I don't need to tell you.
It's a Star Wars movie.
It's a Star Wars movie.
See it.
Yeah.
It's a Star Wars movie that's not a prequel movie.
Right.
So you're gonna see it and it's gonna be good. So
yes,
that's go from that.
All right. Well, let's start off right out the bat before we get into spoilers. Mm-hmm. Where does this? Wait, well, I don't know if I'm gonna. Where does it rank? Totally right now.
Yeah, because that might be a little too spoilers. Because then you gotta just explain yourself.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So is it better than Force Awakens?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
See, he hesitated because he's a Han Solo fan. So, but it is.
It is. It is. And
Yeah.
Without getting into spoilers, it is.
Yeah, I will say this. It is an amazing... everyone kept saying this is going to be like Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Yeah, it's... I don't know. I don't want to get too
into it. It's like
spoilers.
this. No, it is really good. It's not as dark, I don't think, as...
it has
Empire Strikes
dark
Back
undertones, but yeah, that is one thing that about this movie is definitely lighter than Empire. Than Empire in the original trilogy.
It's got a lot of light moments in it that I wasn't expecting, honestly. There was a lot of humor in it that I didn't expect. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. It was a little uneven in the middle, and there was a few scenes I could have done without. But overall, I think it was a very good showing for the new movies. I think I am very confident now in Rian Johnson going forward with his own trilogy after this.
I think so. I don't necessarily like the things he's saying about the new trilogy.
Exactly.
But
should be Old Republic.
I think he'll do a fine job.
All right, let's talk the what's good about this. Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill this is probably one of his best non-voice performances that he's done. I mean, he
brings the drama, definitely.
I would go so far as to say that he pretty much stole every scene he was in. I mean, Luke in this movie, this is Luke's movie.
Yeah.
More,
Again, he's a Luke Skywalker fan.
Yes.
So whether or not that's the accurate, what you'll take away from
it's accurate. Mark Hamill was amazing in this.
He did a great job. Yeah, I will not take anything away from him. Whether he steals every scene he's in, I'm not positive about that.
Yeah.
But
well, we'll break it down character by character in the spoiler section. But right now, we're just talking about the really good parts. I think Mark Hamill was really good in this. I think Kelly Marie Tran's Rose character, I think she was a really good addition.
I'll go so far as to say I liked pretty much everybody we saw in The Force Awakens. I like in this show, in this movie, to one degree or another. Unfortunately, I think Poe was the weak link.
Really? Because I think he got a lot more to do in this movie than he did.
But I didn't necessarily like everything. I know the story, the arc they were trying to tell with him. I felt it fell flat in some spots as far as nothing to say about. That's not the actor's fault. I don't think. I think it was story element's fault, not his. I think he did a fine job as Poe. I think the story they gave him was okay. It just wasn't great. It wasn't the best of the people who we saw last movie that we got introduced to last movie.
Right. And if there's any criticism in the non-spoilery section of this, we'll give it is probably that it's a little uneven, and two, they tried to shoehorn too much stuff into the movie. They could have done with a little trimming here and there of people, places. But it doesn't take away from. It doesn't take away from how great the movie is overall. This is a good movie. Yeah. It's a good Star Wars movie. If you are a Star Wars fan, you're going to love this movie. I mean, it's got enough nostalgia. It's got enough of the new characters in it.
Yeah.
It propels it forward. It was, it was great to see, Carrie Fisher again as Leia, and it's just, breaks your heart seeing her in this and see the potential she have. They're going to build up. You could totally tell
because you could see how it was building towards where the next movie was going to be her movie.
Yeah.
And you're like,
obviously, The Force Awakens was Han Solo's movie. This one is Luke Skywalker's movie. The next one should have been Leia's movie.
Yes.
And we're not going to get that payoff for what was set up in this movie. So it's sad, but she was awesome in this. So it's great seeing her. But other than that, other than to say it's a good movie, I want to get into what I didn't like about it without going into spoilers, and I want to break down each character without going into spoilers.
True.
So overall, let's give it a rating, Doug. Let's rate it out the back, and then we'll go into the spoilers after this. So, what do you give it?
8.5.
8.5. That was a number I was thinking as well. 8.5. That seems about right for this. Really good movie. You'll enjoy it. Go check it out, and then come back and check out the spoilers.
Yeah.
So, here we go.
Give your spoiler countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2. We're spoiling the crap out of this now. Oh.
Yes.
Now, we've had this conversation many times off screen, and I'm going to start on a negative note, unfortunately, because there's a lot positive. So, we'll come back around to that. The power creep in this is unsettling. And I don't even think of it that much because as powerful as Rey and Kylo Ren come across, Luke and Snoke come across as that much more powerful than either of them.
I will say, yeah.
So
it was, I was worried. I don't know if you listened to what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I was worried about it being in our Star Wars podcast. I was concerned about Luke, or all these, the power creep and everybody more powerful than Luke, and he's supposed to be one of the most powerful Jedis.
Yeah.
All the fears are aside, he is one of the most powerful Jedis.
Yeah, he shows, and it's not like overt.
No.
I mean, it is, but it isn't. But no, my problem was the First Order, just like, new bigger weapons, new bigger weapons, new bigger weapons.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is just getting ridiculous. And you could tell that, I don't know, maybe Rian Johnson wasn't comfortable with the amount of power that got put in that way, because he did his best to try and minimize it.
To scale it back.
Not even to scale it back, just to minimize the effect of it. Because you get Snoke gets this giant ship that's essentially the size of the Death Star, just flying around.
It's more like a superstar.
It was meant to be way bigger than a superstar.
Really?
That first ship that comes in that they call the Dreadnought.
The Dreadnought, yeah.
Is like a superstar destroyer. And then his was supposed to be like 2 or 3 times bigger than that, scale-wise.
It was ridiculous.
It was dumb. It was just dumb how big these ships were. But then, but it's too slow to catch anything, so it can just shoot at people long range, and
I think
can't get through the shields, and so it was one of those like, what's the point of this?
My issues with the power creep and stuff like that, I think is not Rian Johnson's fault. I think this was all stuff established by J.J. Abrams, right? The whole premise here, to bring it back to, for me, my biggest problem with the whole concept of all this, and it doesn't take away from it, these are great movies, but the way they had to drag it back to where we started from, right? And I'm talking about copying stuff, I'm talking about like power levels each, right? When it started off, the Empire was all powerful, and Rebellion was a small little spark of rebellion that was trying to fight against it, right? But then the Rebels won, right? They beat they destroyed the 2 Death Stars, they defeated the Emperor. We left Return of the Jedi with them, and we see them going to ascend to power, and apparently they did. And then now they've fallen back down to the point where now the New Order is as powerful as the old Empire was. More powerful, so. Yeah, because you're given every indication that Snoke is more powerful than the Emperor ever was. Yeah, power-wise, yeah.
Or at least he's way more overt with how he uses the Force. And they've got this big bad fleet that's better than the Empire's fleet ever was.
Yeah, and apparently in the first movie they wipe out the Republic, apparently that one system was the entire Republic.
Yeah.
And apparently
or at least all their fleet.
And the entire fleet, because they don't have any ships. So now it's just the rebellion, or whatever, resistance. Whatever, the new rebellion.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, and they switch in this movie totally to calling them.
Oh, yeah, now they're the rebellion.
They're the rebellion now.
Because they're down to a ragtag small handful of people.
Right.
Let's put it this way. At the end, spoilers, the entire resistance fits in the Millennium Falcon at the end of this movie.
Yes.
Right?
The entire resistance.
Granted, they started out with a lot more people, but the resistance gets whittled down to enough to fit in the Millennium Falcon. That is it. Yeah. So, they say they make vague claims about having friends in the Outer Rim systems or spread throughout or whatever.
Right.
But at this point, you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
They were in charge at one point, what?
This is what happens in 30 years of...
Yeah.
Whatever.
So now, pretty much the winners of the war against the Sith Empire is now whittled down to enough to fit on the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
So that's my problem. And it wasn't, like I said, I don't blame Rian Johnson for this. This was established by J.J. Abrams when he brought everything back, right?
Yeah, and they're putting it into the, canon books and stuff like that. So, it's not his fault. So, he had to work in this world. It's a poor premise to work from. It just seems like... Well, and I guess that granted, that's kind of why Rian Johnson wants to do his own thing in his next trilogy is, not be bound by anything like this cyclical storytelling that they're kind of stuck in the story with, where nobody can come up with a better way to balance the odds and make the heroes have to work for it. Than to say, sorry, your dreams that you built in the last one, they're all smashed and you got to start over.
You got to start over. You're small.
You're doing the same thing you did in the first.
Yeah, you got to make things seem desperate. And so, given those parameters, I don't have a problem with the power creep that way. The power creep force-wise, Snoke seems kind of like out of left field. How someone like that powerful got,
Again, that's one of the...
And it's not...
That's one of the one of the drawbacks of this movie, or downsides of this movie, is the two greatest mysteries leaving The Force Awakens and going into this movie are solved by the middle, or actually are eliminated by the middle.
Yeah, I was going to say not solved exactly.
Not solved, eliminated.
Yeah.
So you get to find out who Rey's parents were. Spoilers, nobodies. They were nobodies. They were drunks who sold her for drinking money. And you never are going to find out who Snoke is because he's dead now.
He's dead now.
He gets cut in half by Kylo Ren.
Right.
With no explanation of who he is, how he got to that point, how he saw the Empire rise and fall, and nothing. No. Nothing on screen.
And this could be, for me, maybe just being a fan of Luke and Star Wars of old, I don't have a problem with how powerful Luke is in this, because like you said, it's not flashy. It's overt at some point, but it's not like flashy. He doesn't go, he's not walking in like taking Snoke out.
Right. It's not like prequels with Yoda leaping around, chopping people up with his lightsaber or anything like that.
They let you know Luke is one of the most powerful Jedis ever, and they do it in a way that
Well, we can tell. We're in spoilers.
Oh yeah, spoilers. Yeah.
He straight up projects his image from his home planet
across the galaxy
to where the Resistance is fighting, and
does it well enough to
fool Kylo Ren.
Right.
While they're fighting. Well, first
who can feel his presence. Kylo Ren feels his presence there. He can project himself to them.
Has all of his big walkers shoot at Luke. Luke comes out. I love the little dust.
Yeah, dust off his shoulder. Yeah.
So Kylo Ren goes out. Okay, I got to face him.
Yeah. And what gets me, and this tells you that Kylo Ren probably out of anybody except for Leia knows Luke better than any of those, and knows his power level, and was not surprised that Luke walked out of the. He's like, I gotta go face him, right? Right? He wasn't like, how do you survive that?
Yeah,
he's tricking us somehow. No, he just bought it completely. He's all like,
bought it.
Yeah,
it wasn't physically there.
Yeah,
you get I love the way they fight. Luke at no point connects lightsabers with him, dodges everything. And you're like,
amazingly, he was it was an awesome
total Matrix kind of moves. You're like, wow, Luke's badass. And then once Kylo thinks he connects, then goes, realizes he's a projection.
And while they make him wise in this, they make him, like he's the Jedi Master. He's the way he teaches Rey and the way he talks to Kylo Ren. You get the difference. He's from experience and wisdom, but yet at the same time, he's still Luke, right? He still has to be scolded by Yoda, and
Well, he falls for Yoda's. Remember how Yoda in Empire, he's beaten down. He's like, he doesn't want to train Luke because he's afraid. Luke's in the same spot, where he's all like, I don't want to do this. Everything's gone bad. I don't want it to go bad again.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to teach you.
Right.
But yeah, so that was really cool. So I guess we've skipped into what we thought was cool.
I want to say one of the last things that I know negative when we talked about the inconsistencies and the shoehorning in of stuff, right? I think one of the scenes that doesn't work for me, spoiler-wise, is even though I like Rose, the mechanic character, and Finn, I like their chemistry, I like their mission they went on, but they ended up. I mean, you talk about like the casino planet. What was it?
I don't remember what it was named.
It's one we've heard about coming up. It's basically the rich casino planet or whatever.
Yeah.
It felt completely out of place in this. The movie is desperation from beginning to end. This is the last ditch, desperate attempt to survive for the rebellion, or the.
And this is very much again. This may be one of the areas where you can maybe fault Rian Johnson a little bit. I don't know for sure what direction he was given, but this attempted to follow the beats of Empire. Rebel base is found. Rebels have to flee in desperate circumstances.
They're being pursued
and stuff like that. But the pursuit is of everybody, not our group of heroes who, we need them to get away and stuff like that.
Right.
Everybody gets a chance to separate, and you've got this, let's go to the Cloud City type place to find something that's going to help us and get caught, and bad things happen there. But that was all done against the clock of the rebellion fleet's going to die if you don't do this in time. It didn't give itself the place to work with, where you had Luke going to Dagobah, them going to Bespin, and you had a little time to work with.
Yeah,
that element wasn't there.
But all right, let's be clear here. When I said this movie, everyone expected to follow Empire. It's not Empire, but there is so much in this movie to make you recall Empire, right? Like the whole attack at the end, instead of in the beginning, instead of the attack on the rebel base on Hoth in Empire, it's at the end, right? And instead of snow, it's salt.
It's a salt plain.
But you've got the walkers walking across the white plain. You've got the same similar looking trenches and gun emplacements.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So very much followed the beats of Empire in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's and then obviously Luke going off to train with Yoda, the Rey and Luke storyline with that.
Yeah.
The whole, it's just there was a lot of beats. There were a lot of things that was purposely done to have you recall Empire.
Yeah. Now, how much of that was Rian Johnson's choosing or him being forced into that position? I don't know.
Yeah.
But they weren't necessarily bad. It just, when we were talking about the going to the casino world, it felt totally out of place. It did not. It's like, you got to go here. You got to leave the place you are. Go here. Find this guy that somehow Poe knows Maz Kanata. Yeah. You never find out why or how, but he manages to contact her, and she sends him on this wild goose chase to find this guy who can help you bust onto the main bad guy's ship.
Yeah.
To turn down turn off the tracking device for 6 minutes, which will have some sort of effect for some reason.
It means they won't know where they went when they jump to light speed. They won't know where because basically the big MacGuffin in this one is the First Order can track a ship in hyperspace
if they are there when they leave.
Right. Yeah. So
and somehow General Hux found out how to do this, and Snoke didn't know beforehand. although the tracking device is on Snoke's ship.
Yeah.
So, why that was, I'm not sure.
I mean, like I said, all these nitpicking here, little stuff here, but bottom line is the casino planet seemed out of place. It was an attempt at some humor, and there had some humorous parts, but some of the humor fell flat. Some of it felt a little.
The biggest thing it did was they escape on that planet by revealing that they're part of the Resistance and getting kids on that planet to help them.
To stoke the Resistance.
Which comes back around to people who are starting to believe in the Resistance and willing to help them. People who are on the underside of
Which
society.
could have been done, I mean, a whole bunch of other ways out without this pointless kind of side trek.
Yeah.
They kind of took away from the main thing. The only other thing besides that, and when it's a good uneven, is in stuff being shoehorned in. There was a lot. They went out of their way to make sure all the characters got in this. And a lot of them got short shift because of it. Because, like Maz Kanata, she was in basically a hollow call.
Right.
And she was just shoehorned in for no reason, basically just to give them, this wild mission to go find this code breaker.
Right.
On this, they sent him off on this wild goose chase. And then, again, Captain Phasma, who was so cool, and we got to see why she has chrome armor.
Yes, yeah, reflects a laser bolt. That's cool.
Reflects blaster
bolt. We got bounced off her armor.
Which is cool. But again, she is only in it very briefly for a brief fight with Finn.
Yep.
And pretty much that's it. She kind of... Benicio del Toro, there was really no need for... Again, he's not even the code breaker they go get. He's like the scoundrel...
They just happen to find him in prison. Oh, well, you'll do.
Yeah, his storyline, like I said, if they got rid of that whole section, his storyline was pointless. He was kind of shoehorned in.
Yeah. Why couldn't R2 break in for or BB-8? Why couldn't they break in for you? Why couldn't they be your code breaker?
Yeah, Laura Dern, she was a great actress. I liked her character, right? But again, not a whole lot to work with. Just kind of like in but.
And her interactions with Poe actually made his character worse in my opinion. He got put into positions where his interactions with her, where it was like, I guess you were supposed to get the idea that he's too hot-headed.
Well, I mean, his whole
needed to calm down. Or
we mentioned,
like that.
Doug didn't like his storyline. His storyline is basically that he's being groomed to be a leader in the Resistance. Right. But he's too hot-headed. He's a frontline. He's obviously an amazing pilot, right? And he doesn't think of himself as a leader. So the whole time, Leia's trying to train him to think and be a leader.
And being willing to cut losses or not take on what seems like it's going to make a big score.
Right. And look at the big picture kind of thing.
Resources and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he doesn't find that out until he backs a plan that he backs their plan to go and find this slicer, which doesn't work out in the end because they get caught before they can turn off the tracker.
Yeah.
So their whole plan,
that whole side track didn't work.
It didn't work. So, which is a cool.
And they had a different plan anyway to take care of it. They didn't tell him about.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Which bad on the leader for not informing one of your, like the head of your fighter pilots that is a hothead.
Yeah.
Not telling him what the plan is or why they're doing what they're doing. So that was a failure in leadership.
Yeah.
There's lots of little plot points that aren't bad. They just didn't come off the way they were supposed to, I think.
Yeah.
Or they end up just making you feel like, I just wasted 20 minutes on that side plot that didn't go anywhere.
Right.
So it was cool character interactions, and I think that was it. All those did was build those character relationships.
Yeah.
Which were cool in the end, but it seemed like you went way out of your way to do it. Or I don't know.
All right. So, but this is it. These were the main problems we had with it. It wasn't like, doesn't make it a bad movie. Doesn't, I don't think it took away too much away from it. I mean, those are some of our issues we have with the overall. And again, they feed into the overall story that was set up by J.J. Abrams, not necessarily Rian Johnson's work. But before we get out of the bad things yet, what do you think about the porgs. What's your porg take before we jump into the next section? Does it belong in the bad section, or do you have no problem with the porg? I'll tell you what I feel after. Porgs.
They were all right. Whatever.
Yeah,
They were.
that was my problem. Everyone's like worried about the porgs being
They're not that
goofy.
big a deal. I mean, you get a couple funny moments between them and Chewie.
But they don't take you out of it.
They don't really take you out of it. I do love the fact that they put Chewie in there eating them.
Eating porgs.
Eating porgs. The porgs looking at him like, how could you do this? And him just roaring at him.
Yeah.
And then going to him like he was going to eat him. So I did like that. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And despite that, they all nest on the Millennium Falcon. They're like, oh, he's going to eat us, but whatever.
They infest the Millennium Falcon.
They were kind of like tribbles.
But yeah, I had no
But
problem.
no, they were being offensive. You know, whatever.
All right,
Something to make cute toys, go for it.
let's talk about the good. Why this movie was good, right? Let's get down to the core, the main characters here: Rey, Kylo Ren, Luke, and Snoke. Right?
I think what makes the best thing in this movie, in my opinion, what makes it probably one of the really good movie, is the double turn on us. Where we've been led to this whole thing about
Is Rey gonna turn?
Rey's gonna turn.
Is Kylo gonna be redeemed? Yeah.
Yeah. How is that gonna happen? Are they gonna form some sort of middle? What's gonna happen there? And you think you're getting it when freaking Kylo Ren kills Snoke when he's supposed to be killing Rey.
Yeah.
And then the two of them team up, fight all of the Snoke's new Imperial
Praetorian guards.
Yeah, Praetorian guards, whatever they are.
We're badass.
They were badass. It was a cool fight. I like that. And then, he's like, forget everybody else. Let them die. Whatever. Join me. We'll rule.
We'll rule.
And you're like, oh, all right. He's not turning. He
Yeah.
just used her as an excuse to kill his master and keep the Sith, the Sith imperative, apprentice kills the master going kind of thing.
Yeah.
So wow, that was cool. It took me totally by surprise.
It did.
I didn't expect Snoke to die that early.
Right.
I was like, what? Already?
They tease the opposite. I mean, throughout the movie, right? Where Kylo Ren doesn't kill his mom when he has a chance.
Right.
Right. When Luke finds out that Rey easily turns to the dark side.
Yeah.
And so there was all these.
There were all these
hints
that something was going to happen,
and then
somehow we find out later it was Snoke doing it, but Rey and
Kylo
could communicate with each other, could see each other in their minds.
Yeah.
So that was cool, and then Snoke makes the ultimate bad guy, stereotypical bad guy mistake of putting down his apprentice and saying how much direct control he has over him, and blah blah blah, and I know his mind and everything. And so Wally's like, I'm gonna kill my enemy. He doesn't see the lightsaber turn to him. So that was really cool how they did, Kylo turning on Snoke.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Especially since they just established that there's no way either of these two could
take Snoke.
take Snoke.
Right.
That he would easily handle them even if they teamed up and went against
Much like you get the impression Luke could handle him if, he wanted. I mean, if he was trying.
Right.
If he was. You find out that Luke has cut himself off from the Force.
Yeah.
He's kind of been, not.
the longest time he's not been doing anything with it.
Yeah. But he picks it up. And even as an old man, he kind of he handles Rey with his staff until she busts out a lightsaber on him.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? And if he had a lightsaber,
Yeah.
who knows? But they established Luke as the master.
Right.
He and like I said, Mark Hamill does an amazing job here. I mean, but they all did. I mean, I liked Poe Dameron, even though you didn't like his story arc, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like the actor and I like the character. I just felt like
there was no middle.
they brought the hammer down on him really quickly. Like, boom, you really screwed up this mission.
Yeah.
And you're making wrong decision.
Right.
Until at the very end, you make the right decision.
Right. There was no middle part. Right. There was no transition. He went from screwing up at the beginning, getting demoted, to you figure there was no progression to kept screwing up, and then at the very end, he
essentially commits.
Yeah.
What do you call that? Where you take over a ship.
Oh, mutiny.
Yeah,
mutiny. Yeah.
And then screws that up. But yeah, and then at the end he kind of realizes, the thing I was supposed to get out of this is don't just take things straight head on if it's a lost cause.
Yeah.
So he figures that out at the end. So I guess that was cool. I just didn't like the way the story beat him over the head to get to that point.
Okay. True. But I think he did an Oscar Isaac did a good job in this.
I like the actor. I like the character, so I'm not upset in that.
Let's talk Finn and Rose. Now, again, their side mission was kind of took you out of it a little bit here, but I like the chemistry between the two characters. I like Rose. I like her character. She loses her sister in the beginning. She's a mechanic. She's not even a fighter.
Right.
She's not a pilot or a Jedi or any kind of fighter at all. So she just kind of gets thrust into this mission with Finn, who the entire time he's trying to save Rey.
Right.
Doesn't need saving at this point.
Right. He doesn't realize she's saved.
But
I liked their story a lot. The one thing I'm afraid of is because they got the turn the thing on the head here where she kind of falls for him during the course of it, and he's all about saving Rey at this point.
Right.
So then when they get back, she's all like, she stops him from committing suicide to stop a super weapon, because there's super weapons all over the place.
Death Star technology.
Death Star technology, yeah. But anyways, then she basically admits, says, "Hey, I love you," kind of thing. Not in those, not
she
in those
kisses
exact
him.
words. Kisses him.
Yeah.
And then he's kind of worried about her because she gets wounded, saving him. So he drags her back to base, and he's kind of worried about her. And then you get that scene at the end where Poe introduces himself to Rey.
Yeah.
And she says, he's like, I'm Poe and I'm Rey, and he's, I know, and kind of gives her that. You're like, oh crap! Don't pull a switch on us and try and switch out Poe into some sort of relationship with Rey where it's undeserved.
Right.
There's been no interaction before now, so
I would say I liked. I was kind of at the beginning. I didn't realize. I'm like, why is Finn so worried about Rey for some reason? But then I realized he didn't see her be a badass at all. He was already taken out when she took on. So he has no idea she has force powers even.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So
doesn't know how he has. Yeah, because she never got to explain how she escaped.
Yeah.
From a Starkiller base.
Yeah.
So he knows nothing.
He knows nothing about
except the last thing.
She's a junker who needed rescuing.
Right.
Right. And so he got taken out by Kylo Ren before she actually fought Kylo Ren.
Right.
And then so he doesn't know, and no one tells him he's off training with Luke.
Yeah. He has no idea where she. We don't know if anything was said to him off screen.
Right.
We know he knows that there's a tracking device between the two.
Yeah.
That Leia.
She uses the Force now. When the first time he sees her, she's like lifting a whole mass of boulders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that was cool.
Yeah, I mean, these characters are great. I like the new characters. I like the way this is going. But now you looking. We're talking about like Leia, right? They set her up to, be the lead in the next movie.
Yeah.
Spoiler obviously. Luke dies in the end, not by anybody's hands.
No.
He pulls Obi-Wan, just kind of disappears, and his robes drop.
Not even Obi-Wan being cut down. He kind of
faded out.
More of like a Yoda, because he weakened himself, projecting himself across the galaxy or wherever.
Yeah.
However far he projected himself.
So I don't know whether he died from that or whether he just willed himself, because he got back up on the.
He got back up, and he kind of established contact with Rey and Leia.
Yeah.
You get the idea to kind of just say, okay, I've done what I can do, goodbye.
That's all I
and
need
then
now.
he just disappears. Yeah.
So he can show up as a Force ghost again.
Maybe, yeah. Because that was a surprise in this movie. A great one was Yoda showing up. to talk to Luke. And I love the Yoda as a Force ghost manipulated the Force to cause a lightning strike because Luke was hesitating to burn down the old Jedi temple.
Yep.
And Yoda's all like, I'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
That's just stuff. It was, read it all, did you? It was not page turners. I love it. Yoda cracking a joke about how the Jedi's ancient teachings aren't really page turners.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. There was a lot of humor in this movie.
Yes.
Most of it well played.
Most of it worked, yeah.
Most of it well played. It struck that chord like Thor did, where it broke up really serious action with some funny moments that really didn't pull you too far out. Did you feel like there were any particular areas of comedy that you're like...
Well, there was a few, like especially the Casino Planet one. But there was a few, like in the beginning, one that got me concerned was the Poe Dameron...
General Hux.
Yeah, like Craig calling General Hux to buy time.
Yeah.
Right? That got a little... It was funny.
It was.
It was funny. But I think it went a little long, and I was kind of worried, like, is it going to be like that throughout the movie? Yeah. It wasn't.
Although it did play into Poe's character from the first one.
Yeah, how's this work? Yeah.
Yeah, so it had that same feeling.
Yeah.
But it totally pulls the
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
How about now?
How about now?
General Hux.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
I guess I'll wait.
So lets him give his whole spiel about how he's like, oh, you can never escape and stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm waiting for General Hux. You there?
Yeah. And Hux he's over the top, but that's the way the character's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you get the rivalry between him and Ren in the very first movie, and in this one, he counts himself up there with Ren until Snoke dies and Ren takes over.
And there's nothing to buffer him from Ren.
Yeah. So then he commands Darth Vader style, through intimidation and force.
Yeah.
So, but no, there's a lot to like in this movie. There's a lot to unpack too. I mean, I don't know how I feel about us losing Luke.
Yeah.
How I feel about going forward. I mean, there's a few things they did here. I mean, killing off.
My biggest problem. Well, we've already kind of gone through that.
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems I have that's not necessarily bad because I like how it happened, but I don't like the hole it leaves is the whole Snoke dying.
Yeah, Snoke dying.
Snoke died before we got any sort of explanation of why is he...
Is he a Sith?
Is he a Sith? Where did he come from? Why does he care whether or not Kylo Ren lives up to being the new Darth Vader? Because he brings that up several times is, I thought you could be the new Darth Vader. Why do you care? You're not in the Sith hierarchy, at least that we know of. We'll never know because you're dead and you never told us anything about who you are. Yeah, it closed the door.
That's why, a lot of people are going to be kind of confused. It closed the door on a lot of things, like the race parentage thing, Snoke, who Snoke is, like where they're going forward.
Took those two mysteries and just bam, they don't matter. All of your 2 years of speculating about all of this stuff
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That seemed
and then thrust us forward into another movie that we don't know where it's going, right? Because they don't have Leia. Luke's gone now. The entire rebellion is a handful of people that fit in the Millennium Falcon, and so it's. But
the First Order's on their heels too because they just lost a ton of forces.
Yeah.
Because the sacrifice of the Vice Admiral, who was in charge while Leia was, she sacrificed herself.
He takes out Snoke's
ship to light speed through the Imperial fleet or the First Order fleet, destroying a ton. Snoke's ship is so badass that about a third of it cut off by that light speed thing,
and it was still
doesn't destroy it outright. It apparently could still send troops down to the planet, and they weren't worried about the fact that how are we going to get home, or any of that kind of stuff. So that was kind of ridiculous.
Still have enough forces and walkers to assault the base.
Yes, but now you've got Kylo Ren in charge of First Order that he's not equipped to lead without General Hux's help. but he's just intimidating General Hux. So General Hux could make power plays against him by undermining his authority.
Yeah.
You know, he can give orders and people will obey the orders and stuff, but he doesn't have, you get the idea, he doesn't have the tactical know-how or the strategic know-how to take over the galaxy. So we'll see how that happens, that power play between him and Hux goes.
And Rey didn't get a whole lot of training as a Jedi either.
No.
So,
No, at this point, she's relying. She got two of the 3 lessons she was supposed to get.
Yeah. And then...
Sorry, we're both still sick, so...
Yeah,
after this long, just talking about this.
Right. But I mean, that pretty much wraps it up. This is it's a really good movie. It leaves, much like the first one, a lot of questions unanswered. Where it's going from here. We have a lot of speculation about the next movie. And this comes from having different writers and directors tell each stage of the story. This is basically Star Wars story by telephone, basically. It's like, play a telephone game.
Well,
I'm going to tell the first part of the story.
Abrams coming back. So.
Right, Abrams coming back. So he's got whatever ideas he had, but I got the feeling he kind of set stuff up and then let somebody else tell the second half of the story. Rian Johnson came in with, and it's clear by some of the storylines dropped, some of them ignored,
right?
Or gotten rid of fairly quickly, that he did his own thing with it, right? Yep. And now it's gone back to Abrams, But before
how's that gonna go?
So basically, this is like they have a basic premise, basic characters, and a general direction they want to go, but they're writing these stories each one. So who knows what's going to happen in the next one? Rian Johnson kind of left a mess. J.J. Abrams is coming into this one now.
Yeah, that's
much like Empire did. They end just like Empire. They ended in a desperate, situation, dire situation. That's where they end this movie. I'm more excited than ever to see the next one.
Yeah.
As far
I'm curious as to whether or not Abrams will find a way to answer some of the questions that we've had left, especially about Snoke.
Right.
Because if they just drop Snoke, he's gone.
Yeah.
And you never find anything about it, that will be deeply unsatisfying.
Yes.
Probably the most unsatisfying part of this. Because I don't even mind where they took Rey's parentage. Because a lot of people thought that there was a lot of speculation that was it. That they don't mean anything.
But why is she that powerful?
They're not in part. Well, Snoke implies that it's because Kylo Ren is that powerful. There had to be a light side balance to it. Whether or not that's true.
Yeah. And now that Luke and Snoke are both dead, they are the powerhouses in the galaxy now.
Yeah, they're it.
So
we'll see.
Good movie.
Go see it. Definitely go see it.
It is better than Force Awakens. Where does it fit in the trilogy for you? Or I mean, not trilogy, but in the overall. This is hard. You can't really, when you grow up spending 40 years with something, almost 40 years with something.
Yeah.
You're attached, right? I mean, I can't imagine them making a movie that I would actually think is better than Empire Strikes Back, right? I can't imagine that.
Or Star Wars,
or Return of the Jedi.
Or Return of the Jedi.
Right. So and then the prequels are such a level that I can't imagine placing any of those above anything of these new ones that are coming out. So placing it in, where does it rank in the Star Wars films? It's kind of
4. Maybe.
right after the first
the original trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. It depends. I'm not going to try and rank them between that. I mean, other than saying Empire is first, I really don't try and rank the other ones.
Right.
Because depending on what you're wanting, in many ways I like Return more than I like Star Wars because I like Luke being more of a Jedi. I like the whole space battle thing.
Right, but then the first one is the one that kicked it off the storyline. It introduces these characters, so you can't. You can't really judge these things. Not from us, anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe
until someone younger. Rank them. It's good. Just enjoy it for what it is.
Right. We can agree that Phantom Menace is pretty much the only one that outright sucks. So
there are redeeming parts of 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Especially
Clone
if you watch
Wars,
the Clone War cartoon.
Yeah.
Then they're really good, actually.
Yeah, true.
When you mix that cartoon series in, those two movies
It makes you
become
care
much
about
better.
it. And you overlook the stilted dialogue and everything else. And we got Ewan McGregor was the bright shining beacon for those prequel
Hopefully
movies.
we'll be getting a Kenobi
Yeah.
Star Wars
We
story.
announced Boba Fett's back on, back in production. We got Obi-Wan. So, I mean, I'm just right now after this high, riding this high, realizing that next year all we have is Solo. I don't know.
We'll see.
But we realize how good Solo is. We have The Last Jedi to tide us over for a year.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Yeah,
and
definitely
it's
go see it,
and
or
it's
go
worthy.
see it again.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Hopefully, if you're watching this, you've already seen it.
Yes,
Go see it again.
because we're going to see it again. Because it's a Star Wars movie, and
I've seen it a second time. By this time you watch this, I'm thinking, because I'm going tomorrow night with my nephew. It's his birthday.
Got it. Cool deal, folks. Thank you for listening to us critique Star Wars. I mean, this is our life. Star Wars. I mean, that's what got us. One of the things that got us into being nerds,
Yeah,
geeks in the first place is StarArs. So we were young when it first came out. So
Yeah.
and we love it all these years later. So thank you. If you want to help us out, like, subscribe if you haven't. We're trying to boost by the end of next year. We want to get to 5,000 subscribers. You can help us by sharing this. Comment down below. If you want to support what we do here, we have an Amazon affiliate link to some cool Star Wars merchandise down below. If you don't like that, anything you buy through Amazon through that link will help us out. If you want to help us out directly, we have a link to our Patreon down below as well. We have a growing community of patrons that support the channel and get access to cool stuff like early access shows, behind the scenes and bloopers, and other cool stuff. So thank you for watching this. It's Star Wars, something we all love. I mean, this is why we do this. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good one.